Greetings. Let us continue with the part of discussion towards potential energy possessed by various structural elements. Today we'll discuss about potential energy in elastic body. Now the question arises, what is a potential energy actually? The potential energy is a capacity to do the work by the forces acting on the deformable bodies. So what is the meaning of deformable bodies? These deformable bodies are said to be very much elastic, which offers a action reaction to an applied load. For example, the best example here it is the your springs. A spring possesses its initial stiffness. Based on this stiffness, it may get compressed or it may get stretch, which we say it is very much elastic in nature, which have a rebound towards the applied load. Similarly, we have one more example related to that is rubber, which is said to be ideally elastic material. When it stretch, it will get elongated for a large strain. When it been compressed, it can get compressed to a larger value, compressibility. So this nature is called as a what we say elastic nature. Here some force is going to have work over it, and this work is called as a potential energy. The forces acting on a body may be classified as external force or internal force. Okay, there are two basic heads for the classification of forces: external forces and internal forces. External forces are the applied force, while the internal forces are the stresses developed in the body. Here the external forces may be the surface force applied on the member, where the internal stresses which oppose to this surface force, we call it as a internal stresses. Okay, hence the total potential energy is the sum of internal and external potential energies. Means for the applied load, what is the repulsion given by the body? If we take the work done by both the part, work done by the external load applied on the structure and work done by the repulsion of that particular structural material or structure, we can say that that difference as a potential energies. Now let us move towards a typical potential energy. Typical cases: potential energy in a spring. Figure shows a typical spring. Here, let its stiffness load per unit extension, means what extension it may have, let that be represented as a K, and the length of initial length of this spring is L. Due to applied force which is applied due to the pull through the hands here by this in this picture, it is going to be stretched by a pull applied by the head. Let this pull be P and let it extend by U. Means here what happens due to application of this P pull, it has been very elastic element or flexible element. So based on its stiffness capability, it will show some extension. This extension lets the said the load P moves by a distance U. Hence it loses its capacity to do the work by P into U. Means here what will happen? There will be loss in the capacity of the structure. It will have stretching here. So we can say it is being the what we say working power or working strength of that spring. So hence the external potential energy in this case will be WP. This is the work done by the external force will be equals to minus P into U. What is the why I am putting here negative sign? Because it is going to say tensile action here, stretching. When the load has reached equilibrium position after an extension, means here the load was applied, but what we say the now here further there is a no resistance, no capability of the spring to take more load. We call this a balance one. So when the load has reached equilibrium position after extension of a spring by U, the force in the spring will be K into U. So if we say what the force, the repulsive force is developed in the spring due to applied load P here, it will be Ku. But when the extension was 0, the resultant force was 0. When there was no extension, then the resultant force in that spring was 0. So hence the average force during the extension will be, it is started from 0 to the force which is being developed due to the application of this load P, the apply pull P, it will be 0 plus Ku divided by 2, and average value we can say Ku divided by 2. Now hence the energy stored in the spring due to straining will be equals to average force multiplied by the extension. So here average force is nothing but 1/2 of Ku, which we say this is the internal force which was developed in the spring multiplied by the extension which is being applied, which is being observed in the spring, it comes to 1/2 of Ku square. Now when we call about the total potential energy, the total potential energy will be equals to the total potential energy will be equals to summation of the internal work done and the external work done. So it will be half Ku square, that is the internal resisting forces work done, minus the P into U. This is the pull applied and the extension Pu. So the total potential energy of a spring is worked out to be 1/2 of Ku square minus Pu is Pu. This negative sign is due to the tensile strength or the extension which is being offered in that spring. Now let us try to put this in three-dimensional body. For that, let us consider a body of a volume V subjected to. When we say about the body, there are two forces responsible. One is the self-weight, that is the surface force of the body, and the second, body force of the body, and the second one is the applied forces. So applied forces on the surface. So let us say XB, YB, and ZB. B stands for body here, and X and Y and Z stands for the respective direction. So here force in X direction, body force in X direction will be XB, body force in Y direction will be YB, and body force in Z direction will be ZB respectively. Similarly, if we say about the forces applied on the surface, let us say X, Y, Z is the surface loading along any arbitrary surface S1. Let U, V and W be the displacement component, then the potential energy of the external forces will be. So here it will be force multiplied by the displacement in that particular direction. So since we are going to see about the volume, this will be integrated over the volume. So we will have here triple integration XB into the displacement in X direction, YB into V, ZB into W, means respective displacement in respective direction will be in product multiplied by for the integration volume dV. So here we will get the total work done by the external force along the volume due to body forces. Similarly, we can have external work done by the forces which are applied on the surface for the total, which is going to vary over the entire arbitrary surface which is under consideration. Now we can represent this in terms of the tensor. So XB tensor, here this tensor will be said to be a body force tensor, and UT UT is a transpose. If I want to collect all the term one side, it will be a row and column multiplication. So if I turn that column into row, we can say I am going to have a transpose of it. So here XB into U transpose dV minus XS means the tensor of the all forces in surface along the surface into the respective displacement components in column wise. I am going to write in horizontal part, that's a transpose of that along the surface. So here UT is nothing but UVW. If I write in column way, it will be UVW, and XB transpose, if I write in terms of here it is actually in row. If I want to convert it into columns, then I can say it as a transpose. So here X transpose means what? I am going to write instead of row, I am going to write it in a column. So, but in equation I put here in terms of a row. Let's move further. Now to extend this one, what we have to do, we have to find out internal actions. So here to find the internal energy due to straining, what will happen? The body is subjected to load, there will be particular strain developed. Let us go with a two-dimensional body here. So here let us say XY is the plane under consideration. Initially the body was here of an elemental size dx and dy. When the force is applied, let us say sigma x is the stress applied here. So here in body stresses, we are going to deal with the stresses component. The stress is applied due to applied stresses, it will get stretched. So it has initially along one edge it will be dou u, on another end it will be dou u plus d by u upon dou x. This one is the di by. Okay, d upon dou x means here incremental part will come here. When I will take the resultant about this one, sigma x, this will be the force into dy by dz, dy by the thickness here dz multiply by dou u plus di by u plus d di by u upon dou x means the incremental part into dx. So I will say here positive plane minus negative plane. If I take this one, so we will get a static like this. If I take resultant of this, it will be sigma x dx dy dz d in bracket di by u divided by dou x, but di by u upon dou x, we know this is part of strain, so we can replace this as a incremental part in strain dou is non x. This will say as a strain energy which is developed in a body, which we call as an internal energy developed in that body due to application of the forces. Now let us try to extend this for a full extension. So here the strain is going to have a value from 0 to non x. To reach this final value, we have to run this equation for the entire body. That's why we have to integrate it over the length. So 0 is not up to the strain is non 1, suppose. So it will be sigma x d is sigma is non x into du. Here it is d sigma x is nothing but incremental strain, and this one is the stress in that particular direction. But in case of three-dimensional body which have 9 stress component, among the symmetry we can say, we can write here 6 only. Tau xy and yx is equal, tau yz and zx is equals to tau xz and zx is there, and zy is equal. So means the complementary parts are there, they are being equal. That's why we can put only the 6 member in the tensor. So hence the total strain energy in the element will be sigma x into dou epsilon x, sigma y into dou epsilon y, sigma z into dou epsilon z, then tau xy into gamma xy, tau yz into gamma yz, and here double plus has been appeared, one plus has to be neglected, tau xz and gamma xz along the total volume, and we have to integrate with reference to the maximum value 0 to epsilon x for the case of x direction, normal strains, and 0 to epsilon y in case of normal strain y direction, 0 to epsilon z it should be for the case of normal strain. Here 0 to gamma xy for case of shearing strain, 0 yz for the case of shearing strain along yz plane and xz plane respectively. Now further, if we want to solve this one, then we have to integrate this equation over the entire geometry of the body for the final stress component. So what we'll get, let u naught be the total strain energy per unit volume. Then from the above equation, if we integrate this, we have the here this one, if we take a product of integration of this one, so we get a relation epsilon sigma x dou epsilon x plus sigma y dou epsilon y plus sigma z dou epsilon z d epsilon z incremental part. Similarly we can have product of the stress and strain here, but from the chain rule of differentiation we know that dou u naught means a small increment in u naught is going to be entirely differentiated over the all respect to axis. If I compare these two, we can get sigma x equals to dou u naught divided by epsilon x, and from there we can conclude that the strain, the total strain energy stored by the body is related to the incremental strain in that body, which we can say it is having n number of constants relates to that. That's why we can say matrix D multiplied by the tensor of your strain will relate to the stresses tensor. So if I put these values in terms of integrated output, then we can say u naught is equals to 1/2 of epsilon transpose into d into epsilon tensor. So here one part we will get transpose of the part, and this one we can say it is nothing but stress. So we can write is half of epsilon tensor multiplied by stress tensor. To get total strain energy of the solid, the term u naught be integrated over the entire volume of the solid. That's why we can say it is this one total strain integrated over the entire volume. We can get the value 1/2 of triple integration v over the entire volume, the transpose of the strain tensor multiplied by the stress tensor into dv, means here the product of stress and strain will be there. We can say it is a total strain energy over the entire volume with reference to three-dimensional body. We can rewrite this equation in terms of stresses only, strains only. So here we can say transpose of strain tensor multiplied by the constants d multiplied by the transpose of your strain tensor, strain tensor only into dv. If I put this all equation and into the total potential energy of the solid, we can say total potential energy is nothing but the total strain energy possessed by the body plus the total work done by the external force. So strain energy possessed by the body is 1/2 of the over the volume, the product of stress tensors over the volume. Here there we can have again here double minus sign has been done, one has to be neglected.